I'm like, let me give her a awesome.
Thank you, Georgette.
We're excited to be here. Welcome, everyone.
So we're going to kick things off with Flowcode differentiation, two, going over how to leverage features, and then three, a real life example, just so you can see all of those capabilities and features in action. And then as mentioned, we'll have a Q&A at the end of this. So as we're walking through, please feel free to put things in the chat or the Q&A box. Will you be sharing this presentation? Yes, we will be in the follow-up email, but please note if you are unsubscribed from our marketing emails, you will not receive it. So we'll be sending something in platform. So just log into your account and you'll get that message the next day with the recording and any other resources that we bring up. So I'll pass it over to Georgette to first talk about Flowcode differentiation.
Awesome. Thanks, Corinne. And super excited to be here with you all again. Thank you so much for attending. We're going to learn a lot throughout this webinar. So at Flowcode, I would say the biggest differentiator, we call it the 3Ds: dynamic, data, and design. And just kind of to hit the high points. So I think most of you by now probably visually have realized that a QR code, a standard black and white QR code, is significantly different than some of the really highly designed and custom capabilities within the Flowcode platform. And we'll walk through some examples to kind of show you kind of how custom you can really get and fully baked into your creative using Flowcode. And then in tandem with the design, of course, and most importantly, is the data. So across the suite, whether you're using Flowcode QR codes, flow page landing pages, you have kind of full real-time data that you can access within the Flowcode platform, time of day, day of the week. Corinne is going to hit on all the analytic points there throughout the presentation. And then dynamic. So we'll talk a little bit about it in the next slide, but basically if you've gone ahead and you've printed your Flowcode, you put it on collateral, and then you decide, oh wait, I need to update this at a later date. Maybe your website isn't updated yet. You can fully make that change regardless of going to print directly in the platform. And then kind of to tie it all together is privacy. We are privacy compliant, GDPR and CCPA compliant. What that means is we're really abiding to California and EU privacy laws. So, you have a level of assurance, your clients have a level of assurance when they scan a Flowcode. We're not taking any of their personally identifiable information, just by scanning a Flowcode. So kind of an added level of insurance there. Next slide, Corinne. Awesome. All right. So we talked a little about dynamic. I just want to kind of show you visually because sometimes, when we say the word dynamic here, we're kind of speaking to ourselves. So basically, when you log into the platform and you click into any asset or any code that you've created, you'll kind of be redirected to what we call a code details page. And this is where you can make any and all adjustments to your Flowcode, including the scan destination, AKA that end URL. To the Flowcode. And so there's many places you can send a Flowcode, right? You can go to a website, but maybe I want to actually change this to update a file. You can do that directly in the platform and it updates right away. So keep that in mind if ever you're making changes, or maybe you're marinating on your QR strategy, you need to go to print and you're not really sure if you can make a change. You absolutely can directly in the platform. All right, I'm going to pass it over to Corinne to talk a little more about features.
Thanks, Georgette. So first one we're going to talk about is smart rules. What is it? It essentially allows you to change the destination of one code based on different configurations. So those configurations can be device type, that breaks it down from iOS, Android, and desktop, time of day, day of the week, and those are all available with the Pro plan and above. And then with Growth and Enterprise, you can access geolocation, which breaks it down by region, state, zip code, or coordinates. So you can redirect one code based on one or many of those things. You can apply them, and I'll show you how to do this in the platform by creating a code, going into that code overview page, as Georgette said, and you get there just by clicking on the code. Again, we'll show this, and then clicking on the advanced tab, and it's right at the top of the advanced tab. Before we do that though, I wanted to show you two in real life examples of this. One would be scan to an app download. And this smart rule uses device type. So this person would input those two different destinations as Android, iOS, and they would have it go to the respective app store. This just makes it more seamless for the user so that they're able to download right to their phone. They don't have to navigate to their native app store. It just, again, kind of meets the customer where they're at. Second example is scan to a restaurant menu. This would use the smart rule time of day. And what this process looks like is they would upload two different scan destinations, one with their lunch menu PDF and one with their dinner menu PDF, so that when customers scan at 2 p.m. on Wednesday, they're getting that lunch menu. And then 6 p.m. on that same day, they're getting that dinner menu. So again, this removes the friction where maybe you would have to update it on the back end or reprint the code so that it automatically changes in real time. So I'm going to keep sharing my screen and just show you how to do this in real time. Georgette, can you confirm that you're seeing my Flowcode dashboard?
You're all good.
Great.
I can see it.
So getting to that code overview page, very easy. All you have to do is click on the code, whether it's up at the top within those cards that you see or down in the list view. So I'll click on the list view and this will bring me to that code overview page. Here's that scan destination that Georgette called out. So you're able to change that here, type in any website that you want, and that's how you edit that scan destination. But in order to get to those smart rules that I mentioned, click on advanced, and then smart rules is right at the top. So it's toggled off right now, but if I toggle that on, it'll show me that default scan destination, which is what I originally set it as. So when these smart rules aren't in play, it's going to automatically scan to whatever you set it as. Currently it's flowcode.com, but hit configure and you're able to choose which smart rules you want to apply. So if you just click on all of them, you'll be able to see all of those options in this little pop-up window. You can select which days you want it to scan, which start times and end times. And then here's the location breakdown. So if you wanted to do it by region, state, zip code, coordinates, etc., you just apply those. And I'm going to make this really easy just doing days. Hit apply, and then it'll say scan destination 1 on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It'll give you a breakdown of those smart rules. So you can say, on those days, I want this to scan to flowcode.com. And then that's what it would apply. Hit save, and it'll automatically redirect. So very easy. You can apply it to a code that you've already printed too. Again, this just refers to the dynamic aspect of those codes. Next, moving into white label. So there are a bunch of different things we are referring to when we talk about white label. The first three that are available with Pro Plus and above are: one, removing flow code from the eye of the code, and you have visuals at the bottom of the screen so you can understand what exactly these are. Two, removing flow code from the footer of your flow page. Three, the co-branded redirect. So what that looks like, and you can see a visual here, is you're able to put a word before flow to it. And this just allows you to brand it a little bit more towards your company, however you're utilizing flow code. But then with growth and enterprise, you're able to actually connect your own domain. So you'll see this one says Corcoran.com rather than it just saying Flowcode.com. And that's because redirects are required for these to be dynamic and for them to scan where you want them to scan. So we need to hook up a redirect for them to be usable. So that's why we just use Flowcode in its place. But again, with Pro Plus, you can add that co-branded redirect. And then with growth and above, you can add in your own. Collecting CRM. So what is it? Essentially, Flow Page allows you to collect that information that we don't collect at the point of scan. So you can collect name, email, phone number, address, few other things. And you can also integrate it with some plans. You're always able to use this on any plan, and you can download those contact submissions. But if you wanted to integrate it with your third-party CRM platform, we have integrations with MailChimp, Zapier, and then with the higher plans, we also have them with Klaviyo, HubSpot, and Salesforce. This is really great if you're looking to nurture those customer relationships. A lot of people use it for giveaways, for, sign up for our newsletter, things like that. Next, we have the Flowcode Pixel. So this is one of our newest releases. We did a webinar on it last month if you're interested in learning more about it. But essentially, it's HTML code that we provide. You add it to your website's coding, and it allows you to report on which flow codes are driving purchases or conversions on your actual website. So you're able to attribute all of your spend on, let's say, marketing and see how much ROI it has. And how can I access it? Again, we'll be going through this. I'm going to exit and share my screen again, just so we can go over the things that I discussed. But essentially, you'll be able to access that by going to analytics. And then you'll see under real time, it has conversions. And this is where you'll see 0 because you haven't set anything up yet. But if you wanted to add a conversion action, you'll be able to enter your website domain, define the conversion action. And again, we have helpful resources on how to actually set this up, what that looks like. And those will be at the end of the presentation. You can scan and find all these resources, or we'll be sending them in the follow-up. Going to white label, I wanted to call out how you can remove flow code from the eye of the code. So again, click on the code that you want to remove the eye from, hit edit design, and then you'll be able to remove flow code from the logo. You can also toggle this on when originally creating the code so that it automatically removes it at the start. But if you wanted to go back and remove it from already existing codes, you can do that as well. And then lastly, domains. This is where you'll be able to set up those co-branded or custom domains. So at the bottom is where you'll find those co-branded domains. You can easily set it up with your Pro Plus or above plans. All you have to do is add Flowcode domain, type in the name of what you want it to be before flow to it, and then it's easy to set up. And then similarly, adding a custom domain really just has you write in your own subdomains. Again, this seems a little bit more complicated, but I promise we have step-by-step instructions at the end as well in the follow-ups, just so you can follow them if you are needing that support. And we'll hop back into the slideshow, and I'll toss it over to Georgette to talk a little bit about the example.
Awesome. Thanks, Corinne. And I just want to call out or acknowledge rather, I see questions coming through, amazing questions. We're going to save them for the Q&A, but please keep submitting all our amazing questions so far. So I've been keeping an eye on it. Okay, perfect. So we're going to go through some actual visual examples. So Corinne walked through a lot of the features. There's a lot to follow. Some are more relevant to others. Some features are more relevant to you maybe than other features, or maybe you're super excited to leverage them all. You know, again, also depending on what plan, we completely recognize that maybe some features can't be fully accessed, but just kind of wanted to show you an end-to-end experience so you can really visualize everything that Corinne was walking through. So we've got a little mock-up brand here, Soapy, nice little soap brand, kind of timely for the holidays. And basically what we've done here, there's kind of 3 components just to call out here is first and foremost, Flowcode, of course, on a TV advertisement. Just want to call out, I don't think we talked about it here, but you actually can, and we do encourage putting flow codes on any type of TV advertising that you're working on, YouTube videos. Again, it's just another touch point or another way your consumers can get access to you. And so if you look at the flow code itself, we talked about design. This looks fully baked into the creative. So at first glance, you don't really see this like jarring black and white unfitting QR code. This is something that our design team has curated for the Soapy brand with a really strong call to action, scan to buy now. And a little fun fact about call to actions is that we found in our research that you are likely to double your scan rate when you actually have the word scan. It just kind of psychologically encourages the consumer to pick up their phone and scan the code on the screen. You'll see at the bottom of the Soapy flow code itself, we have that custom redirect. So like Corinne mentioned, just to reiterate, when you scan any QR code in the market, whether it's a flow code or any other provider, you'll always be hit with a redirect. So it'll be that little yellow icon, you'll tap it and you'll get redirected to the end destination. So this is just kind of showing you that fully white labeled option or that custom redirect that Corinne mentioned. And again, you can co-brand this as well. And then now, once you scan the code, the experience is actually kind of managed or set up with smart rules, I should say, not managed. But basically, if you're scanning this advertisement during the daytime and you're getting targeted, we want that experience to be fully tailored to the moment that you're living in at this time. And that's really starting your day with our soapy routine. And that kind of guides the consumer to a custom flow page specific to the daytime routine or the hour of the day, right? So maybe it's between, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. The consumer will land on this page. And again, this is a flow page completely available with all plans. You can access this and add your client information, your contact information, and any other links or even a CRM collection opportunity here. And then for the nighttime, same goes, just ending your day with our soapy routine. Again, a different flow page, all configured by Smart Rules. So this is just to show you a really tailored example of how you can get really kind of granular with how you target your consumers with Flowcode rather than just sending them to one URL and letting them pick your own adventure. This gets a little bit more thoughtful. And so to take it even one step further, so now, you're a consumer, you scanned the Soapy flow code on the screen, you've landed on the Soapy flow page itself. And let's say now, I select one of the links and I'm redirected accordingly. So using the Flowcode conversion pixel by installing that on your brand's website, that customer journey, even when they leave the flow page, is still tracked. It's completely anonymous. So we don't know, of course, that, Corinne Gaccione landed on this page. We just know that somebody landed on this page, a scanner. And then from this page, I can actually understand where's the consumer navigating to and understand end-to-end the consumer journey. So after they've landed on the page, they've actually jumped to a PDP page or a product landing page here for the pumpkin oat soap here. And then they've gone through the checkout experience. And if they've successfully completed and landed on a thank you page or a confirmation page, our platform will record that as a conversion. So just wanted to show you end-to-end kind of like the opportunity to measure ROI with our platform. Really, really great technology here to be able to allow you to understand the value of a scan itself. Awesome. And we talk a lot about scans and we mentioned conversions with the conversion pixel. And so we always say that scanning a code is the highest signal of intent. And the reason for that is that in order to scan any code out there, a consumer has to physically pick up their phone, open their camera app, and scan the screen. And that alone takes a lot of decision making as a consumer, right? And intent, right? You're intentionally doing something rather than maybe just getting targeted for an ad on social media, making an accidental click. This is something, or it's kind of a signal that this customer is super engaged with your brand already, and there's a higher chance of conversion, actually 35% kind of conversion rate on average of scanning a flow code. So once I land there, I'm about 35% likely to make any kind of conversion on your website. And with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to Corinne, who's going to walk in a little more about the data and what we actually track here at Flowcode.
Thanks, Georgette. That was really helpful. I sometimes found myself asking how all these pieces fit together. So seeing the whole journey, especially from the customer lens and then also the client lens, is really helpful. Now we're trying to understand the data behind it. So at the top of all of your dashboards, you'll see scans versus unique scanners. So this is meant to represent that re-engagement rate. It shows consumer interest in how many people might be engaging with multiple of your ads or with one of your ads a few different times. So going back to that example, let's say the Soapy TV commercial runs twice and Georgette is watching it both times. She's a huge TV head, loves TV. So she scans it once at that 11:15 a.m. mark and then again at that 6:25 p.m. mark. So that is one unique scan, which is the blue representation of this, but then two total scans. So that's where it comes into play, where it would show someone coming back. Next, top performing links and top performing tags. The links are a really great way to see what on your flow pages are getting the most engagement. So then you can use this and update any flow page content or see what audience is really interested in, so that if you wanted to maybe eliminate the flow page in the future and have it go directly to one link that's outperforming the rest by a significant amount, totally up to you, but it again lets you see what your audience is interested in. And then second, top performing tags. These are really important. They're a way for you to internally organize your codes and search through your dashboards, search through your analytics. This is something that we didn't touch on, but you can easily add when you're creating codes. Similarly, in the advanced tab of your code overview page, you can add them, remove them, even after a code is created. But one of the biggest uses for this is running A/B tests. So you can create unique codes for different things. So going back to the Soapy example, let's say I had two different calls to action on those commercials. One of them was scan to buy now, the other one was scan to shop, just to see the effectiveness of each of them. So I created unique codes for them, tagged them appropriately, and you're able to see the engagement on those different codes. So I tag one TV, or I tag them both TV because that's the medium that we're using, and then one night and one morning, so that you're able to see again the engagement based on time of day, and then that also that CTA. Next, geolocation. So this is available with our growth and enterprise plans. So this is really helpful if you're using a code in multiple places throughout, city, state, or even country level to see where it's getting the most engagement. So you're allowed, or we collect IP address at the point of scan, but you can also turn on the geolocation interstitial. This is something that allows users to opt in and share their exact location. So that again, it's that voluntary opt-in where you're able to get more granular insights. The IP address allows us to understand zip code level, but that can be a little bit more generic. So this geolocation interstitial, that's available when you're creating your workflow or when you're creating your code. And again, in the advanced tab, you can toggle it on or off afterwards. And then lastly, device type, time of day, and day of week. This is available for Pro and above plans. So you're able to see what is the most popular time of day, what's the most popular day of the week. These are really beneficial when you're analyzing your data. Is it because of campaign restrictions? Are we only running it at those certain times? Or is it an event that we're having all throughout the day where we can really analyze what the traffic looks like and send that back to our client? Or how can we leverage this data to understand the customer more? And then maybe how can we use our different capabilities and features like smart rules to enhance that customer experience? So if you see that most of your scans are coming from certain locations or appearing at certain hours of the day, again, going back to the Soapy example, how can we enhance that customer experience to show them our products or services that might apply more to their mindset? Georgette, did you have something to add?
No, you hit it right on the head.
You
Love
looked
it.
like you wanted to say something.
I know I was gonna jump in, but I'm like, you know what? With the sake of time, we're good. This is
Okay.
perfect. Amazing.
And then lastly, conversions. This helps you identify again how the traffic attributed to your flow codes and flow pages then converts. So you're able to see that one flow code on TV, how many purchases it led to on your site versus maybe the one that you're running in a magazine advertisement. And it again helps you calculate that ROI. So for the Soapy example, their flow page had a link to their website, which had a Flowcode pixel on it. And it allows them to see the full funnel view. So then you can understand, how many scans did it get, how many page views, and then how many people actually converted. So where are those drop-off points within your funnel and what is having the most impact on that? Georgette, do you have anything else to add?
No, I think you hit it right on the head. I guess it's worth noting that currently I believe we measure one conversion action, but I think that's functionality might be built out to measure multiple
Yep.
as well. So just want to call that out for those who are familiar with pixels.
Great call out. And
Awesome.
then we'll open it up to Q&A. We do have a few questions already set up. So first one, looks like the location-based scanning is domestically focused for now, will smart rules eventually include international locations to send scans in other countries to specific locations using primary language of that country? Yes. So the hope is that in the future, we will be able to do more international geolocation-based smart rules as well as geolocation reporting on the analytics side, but currently we do not offer that. Next, for commercials TV, is there any limitation with international markets or will these work wherever they are displayed? This should work internationally. We don't currently report on that data in the map, but you'll see a breakdown of the top performing cities. Georgette, correct me if I'm
Yep.
wrong.
I was going to say, in the actual data itself. So if you put a Flowcode on and you are international in Spain, just using an example, the customer will have full access as long as the platform or the URL that you're sending them to is accessible in their country, right? So maybe that's a specific URL you just want to check on your side. And then in the raw data itself, like Corinne mentioned, there's a map. The map, for some reason, is really just US focused. But then the data and the raw analysis itself is the country level, depending on which country. Not every country, of course, has states, there's provinces, there's certain data limitations too, depending at the country level that we can offer. So that it may just stop at the country level, or it may give you some information on those quote unquote states or areas. But it just really varies by region, right? It comes down to the privacy laws and what we're actually allowed to collect and distribute. But short answer is yes, it will work no matter the country. Just the data may look a little different than the US.
Great. Next is the configure option only with the enterprise plan. So this is available with the growth or Pro Flex and the enterprise plan as well.
Awesome.
My CRM is KV Core. Do you have plans that use that one? We do not currently have plans that integrate with KV Core, but we are noting it down and relaying that back to our product team as we work on future iterations of FlowPage and its integrations.
And you may be able potentially to use Zapier, no matter the plan you're on, to set up a Zap to KV Core. So Zapier, Zapier. I could write it in the chat too, just so if you want to look into it. You may be able to set up a Zap there. And then if you use KV Core, but maybe you're on an enterprise plan and you're familiar with APIs, there might be a way to, if you accept open APIs, to kind of link the two. But I would start with Zapier because sometimes that's the best way to go for any kind of CRM that we don't currently link with.
Yep, good call out. And there's always the option to just download those responses in the Flowcode dashboard. So if you wanted to manually import them into your own CRM, you can do that as well.
Great call.
Printing options are no longer on the dashboard. Is there a print option? We unfortunately do not have a printing option connected to our current site, but we do have recommended printers that we can share in the follow-up as well. But a lot of companies, I think, Vistaprint does a really great job. A lot of people use Canva to design their assets and then print them through like Staples, FedEx, Kinko's, etc. When you add a person to a folder, are they limited to only seeing that folder's data? Yes, correct, Georgette?
Yeah, I was going to say I can take this permissioning question because permissions can get a little different depending on what permissions you have, right? So if I add Corinne as an admin to the platform, I will, and then let's say somebody else on my team is a member, right? So if I am added to an organization as an admin and nothing has been shared with me, regardless if I'm an admin, I won't see those physical assets until they're shared with me. And that could be you adding those assets all into folders that then have subfolders. You would want to share, let's say you have your marketing team as one folder with multiple subfolders, and you want to have like a super admin of the marketing team, share the main folder with whoever you need to have access, and then they'll have full editing access or view only access to the folders that you assign and the subsequent folders. If they're an admin of the platform though, even if they can't see, let's say, all the assets or manage them, they could actually go into reports and see at least a view of all of the assets in the organization and who owned or created them. We could do a whole nother, maybe that's a good webinar to do on like assets and permissions, because I get confused sometimes. But the short answer is definitely you want to share assets as you're creating them with the right team members, and a folder structure is the best way to do that today in the platform.
Right. Our company changed logos. Is it possible to have it changed in our personalized code designs? How do we do this? Yes. So with accounts that have access to that artist design code, we can share the why am I blanking on the name of it, Georgette?
Oh, the design form?
Yeah, the one where you can edit it.
Oh, the revision form.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
revision,
you can always
revision
request
was
a revision. Yes,
revision was blanking from my mind. I don't know
that's
why. I knew
totally
it
okay.
started with an R.
That's what's today? Tuesday brain, Wednesday
Tuesday
brain?
brain.
Yes.
Um,
And I see the note on John. I see a couple people just to pause, have to jump, but thank
yep.
you, Jeffrey and Brad. And I'm taking all the questions, by the way, and adding them to a document. But continue, Corinne, as we go through the questions.
Yeah, we have one question that says, can you use Flowpage to sell products and customers can pay for them via the Flow page? So currently, no. But that you can always use our product. I forget what the actual widget's called, but you can showcase
Promote an item.
yeah, if you wanted to showcase all of your products on one flow page and you have like a Shopify link that you want to link out to, or your specific website page, you can showcase a visual of the product or service, and then also the price of it, as well as any discounts if you're using that for the holidays, especially. Next, even without setting up smart rules for geolocation, can't we already see location by city and state under analytics? Is there an advantage of using a smart rule for this? Yes. So if you're using a code for a countrywide campaign, it's especially useful so that if you want someone in Connecticut to scan to more relevant information, again, this goes back to that customer experience and wanting people to have information surfaced to them that's more relevant to them. This is where you would use those geo smart rules for that one code. I know one client is also using it for parks throughout the city, so they want it to scan to the relevant park information. You could also create different codes for that, but again, if you're running one campaign, especially for TV, this will come in handy. And then lastly, I'm just going to put up another poll quiz, just so that not quiz, it's just to understand like how people thought this webinar went, if they thought it was helpful. Any and all feedback is really appreciated, because we want to provide information that's helpful to you. So for future webinars, if you have any ideas as well, would be really, really helpful. I know we already talked about, permissions and sharing. So that's definitely one that we will be doing in the coming weeks. Someone also just asked, can you edit a custom flow code that you built for me? Design wise, you cannot in platform, so you need to submit that revision request. But if you wanted to edit that scan destination, as we mentioned, you can always do that. So we'll follow up with that revision request with you, Cecil. And again, thank you so much for attending, everyone. This is all we had planned for today. But again, be on the lookout for that follow-up. Again, if you're unsubscribed from our marketing emails, please make sure you're logging into the platform so that you get that notification and can access the recording and any other resources that you may want. But thank you again. How to get custom codes. So if you have Pro Plus, and above, you have access to our custom codes. So we can share that link with you, Archie, just so you have access to it if you do have that Pro Plus or above plan. But again, thank you everyone for attending. We are so appreciative to have all of you on our platform, and can't wait to see you at the next event.
Thanks, everyone. So nice to meet you all. Thank you for the questions, and we'll see you at the next one.
Bye.